Hello, welcome to another Touchy Gooners Patreon piece. I'm joined by Sean. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. Struggling in this heat, but plowing
Yeah,
on.
the heat is nuts. Like I went Nando's earlier, and I thought it'd be a good idea, chill out in the sun with your missus, and just like have a few drinks, have a bit of food. But I
The heat
was
was
sitting in that
talent.
heat for 15 seconds, and I was like, nah. We need to find a shade because you see Nando's. I don't know if it's like this with all Nando's, but the Nando's in Lakeside, yeah, they're like you can order, but you can't eat inside. So
Inside,
you have to eat outside, but it's
yeah.
like we're not bringing the food to you or
It's,
anything
it's,
like
it's,
that. It's
it's
just a
that one by
takeaway kind of thing.
yeah, it's that one by the waterfront as well, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a nice
Yeah,
view. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, oh,
yeah.
nice, but nah, the sun.
But there's not much shade in it,
Ooh,
so
no shade, no shade. Just pamming my ass, bro. My face was the same color as my t-shirt. If you can't see my t-shirt, it's pink. So, yeah, man, the summer's just killing me, bro. So, yeah,
it's gonna be 34 degrees tomorrow apparently
tomorrow,
as well.
innit? I know,
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
killing,
We're
man.
not built for this kind of weather, man.
We're not, bro. We're not.
We're not built for this weather. But yeah. So obviously, this is going to be a cup final preview for all Patreon users. So yeah, as per usual, just want to give a massive thanks to all you Patreon subscribers.
Big up to you guys, man.
Yeah, big up you lot. We hope you're enjoying the bonus piece of content. Weekly. I think we got I'll keep it. We've got a special one next week. Sean, I don't think I've told you yet, but I think we got a special one for next week.
Okay.
So yeah, so that should keep you in good spirits no matter the result on Saturday. So yeah, let's get straight into the actual preview itself. So obviously this season we did a season review as our podcast yesterday. And it was pretty glum stuff, if we're being honest. Not many positives, many weaknesses, many negatives. Sorry, I should say many negatives. But as per usual with Arsenal seasons, there always does seem to be like something at the end of the season. Like last season, we had the Europa League final. This season, we got the FA Cup final. I think the season before that, we had the FA Cup final as well. So there always seems to be something that kind of like keeps us on the thread. Do you know what I mean? Of like this season it's not going to be great if we win the FA Cup, but it's going to be a much needed boost if we do win, because we need that. It's not even the Champions League money we needed anymore. We need that Europa League money now. So, it's in terms of importance, it's still a very important game, no matter how you may rate the FA Cup or not. It's probably our most important FA Cup final in a long while. Do you think, Sean?
100%. Because when we played Chelsea in 2017, we were already in Europe. Obviously, it wasn't the Champions League, but we were already in the Europa League. So we didn't need Europe by hook or crook like we do this time. We need to boost the coffers for the summer transfer stuff. So I mean, either way, it doesn't change. We win or lose, what we need to do this summer anyway. But we can boost the kitty a little bit more by a win. So it's more crucial for us. It's obviously similar to last year where Chelsea had already qualified for the Champions League, so they didn't even need to win it, and they still beat us. They don't need to win this. So I mean, not very optimistic if I'm to be totally honest with you, but hopefully we can pull out something like we did against City in the semi-final.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about games against Chelsea of recent history. So, if I'm right in saying Arteta's had 2 games against Chelsea so far, right? So one was pretty early on, which was that crazy 2. Wait, was it 2-2 or did we lose?
The first one we lost. It was his second game in charge. It was his first home game.
That's it. Sorry, that's it. Yeah,
where we lost 2-1. But
2-1. Sorry.
we were very good for about 70 minutes in that game.
Yeah.
And then Leno made obviously an uncharacteristic error.
Yeah.
And then we got punished again late on when we were opened up a bit more. So that was quite unfortunate because there was a lot of good signs in that game. So unfortunately we didn't take any points. The second game was another sort of chaotic game.
Backs against the walls job kind
Backs
of thing.
against the wall because obviously we went down to 10 men early. And then we went 1-0 down, but we sort of set up our stall well because we sat in 2 banks before Chelsea really found it quite difficult to break us down. And then we were quite clinical I mean, we were very, very clinical.
Very clinical. What do we have, like two
Yeah,
shots or something
two
like that?
shots and two goals basically
Yeah.
on the counter that day as well. So we managed to get out there with a point. So it was a really sort of good defensive rearguard action. So yeah, I feel like we obviously naturally we have a chance. Chelsea aren't as good as City, who we beat in the semis, but they will pose a threat definitely through the midfield in terms of the guys they have. Kovacic, a very good ball carrier. Mount, a decent ball carrier. Pulisic is a very big threat in the front three as well. And you know all about Giroud.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he punished us last year. And to be honest, I'm not too confident the guys we have at the back can keep him at bay again, which is weird considering how much we used to moan about him. But yeah,
Yeah. It's interesting because I was just looking at how we lined up against Chelsea in those two games. We did line up with the 4-2-3-1. Ozil started both of those games. And I particularly remember in the one at home, Ozil played really well in that game. In the first half, anyway, the first 35 minutes, a lot of good things came through Mesut. And obviously, we set up with this 4-2-3-1. In the first game, it was Luiz and Chambers, and the second one, it was Luiz and Mustafi. And then Holding came on when obviously Mustafi got Luiz sent off for that ridiculous, whatever that was. That back was it a back pass? I think it was.
He tried to a ball was played through. He tried to clear it, and he just totally shanked it. And then they were through on goal, and yeah, Luiz ended up bringing the guy down.
And what's interesting about those teams is that obviously Chambers and Mustafi are not going to be available for this game. But we probably it's strange because in those two games as well. Actually, no, I'm just looking at this one. No, sorry, Chelsea did play a back three against us in the first Arteta game. They did play a back three against us.
And they, because we were, so the first 35 minutes in that game, we were very good. We were well.
And they switched it up, didn't they?
And they switched it because nothing they were doing was working. And then obviously they brought in, and because we were outnumbering them, so they brought on Jorginho, right? They brought on Jorginho, and they started to get a big foothold in the game. Yeah. And if you remember early on, I think in the first 6 games, Arteta he wanted us to be very, very aggressive in terms of our press. So you always saw we started games really, really well in the first half, but
burned out.
Second half burned out. So obviously we don't really have the level of athleticism needed to play that sort of style for a 90-minute period. And he obviously even alluded to that again a couple of weeks ago as well. So he's just trying to find the solutions to manage with at the moment. But no, we were quite good in that game. Second game was obviously a lot different because of going down to 10 men very early as well. But I think we have a chance. Like I said, Chelsea aren't City, but they definitely have a lot of threats, especially in midfield and attack, that we have to be wary of.
Let's talk about those threats then, because Chelsea have gone with a back three in recent weeks. I think they kind of settled on the 4, but they shipped so many goals. I think Lampard, they've got I've said this a few times they're very similar to us in terms of the issues they have. They've got some goals in their team, but they've got really major glaring defensive issues that lose them a lot of games. They concede silly goals, and essentially if they win games, they have to really outscore the opposition a lot of the time. So a bit unsure as to how they're going to line up, considering that they probably had the most success against us playing 4 at the back. I don't know how they lined up in Europa League, actually. Let me just check the Europa League. How did they...
They played with Sarri last. They played 4-3-3.
4-3-3, yeah. So they've had a lot of success against us playing a 4-3-3, because even the game at Stamford Bridge where we went down to 10 men, I think even before the red card, I felt like they were on top of us for that game for like the first 25 minutes when David Luiz got sent off. So it'd be interesting to see if Lampard does revert back to that 4-3-3, or whether he will continue with this 3 at the back, which he has been playing for the last few weeks. What do you think?
I think you got it right. Like us, they have to play the back 3 because in a back 2 they don't have a lot of defenders that look comfy in that back 2. They're quite shaky as well. I think that they've got loads of issues like us, so they can be got. So obviously they use the 3 at the back to sort of hide the deficiencies of each defender, essentially, don't they? So it'll be interesting to see what he goes for. He lined up, I think, with a 3 at the back against Man United in the semi-final as well. So so it might be sort of a big game formation that they've been trying this season, because I remember they used it against Wolves last day of the season. I remember seeing them use it against Tottenham earlier in the season as well.
Yeah.
So it seems to be something that they refer to maybe in big games as well, just to give them the extra body at the back and hopefully compensate on the counter. But I mean, I think they could easily go for it back and still cause us a lot of threat, just because they're a lot stronger in midfield than us as well. That's the major difference between the teams. They can progress the ball very, very well. I think Kovacic has the highest dribble completion rate this season, and he's obviously a central midfielder as well. So, you know, when we talk about press-resistant midfielders who can carry the ball 40, 50 yards, so hopefully we can remain compact and sort of stop that, because in transition, if he gets away from either Ceballos or Xhaka, none of them are really going to stop him, are they? So it's about maybe cutting out those sort of passing lanes and those angles to maybe Pulisic. I mean, I don't really know who they're going to play.
Yeah, this is the thing. I don't really know who they're going to play. Mount has been in good form recently, so I would imagine Mount would stake a claim to be playing. I don't know.
William normally always plays, doesn't he, as well? So
William didn't play against Wolves, so I'm assuming he'll come back into the team for, probably on the right.
So you don't think Pulisic will play?
I think it's between Pulisic and Mount who will play. Yeah. I mean, out of those two, I'm not too sure who I would prefer to play, because Pulisic gives you your own problem with direct running threats, and we struggle with that. But we also struggle with midfielders getting into the box, and Mount is someone who's got an eye for a goal. I'm not necessarily too concerned with his creative ability, but they don't really need him to do that. So I would be concerned with either of those two, to be honest. Is there a better evil out of the two?
I would slightly go Mount, because Pulisic scares me, because he has crazy acceleration, and we've seen a couple of times this season he has a bit of an X factor about him once he gets going as well. So I really like him, just in terms of his skill set. Mount, I don't think is as complete as that, but he seems to be like Frank's love child, and I think Frank sees a bit of himself in him. Like, Mount loves a shot from outside the box, doesn't he, as well? And I think you'll see a lot of them trying to, how we used to when Giroud was at Arsenal, combined with those little 1-2s in and around the box as well.
Penalty
so we'll have to be, exactly. So we have to be wary of those sort of like third man runs off the ball as well. So I mean, either or, they'll cause us problems. So and they have bench options as well, which is the scary thing as well.
They do, yeah. I guess in centre midfield, would they go with Jorginho and Kovacic, or will someone like Loftus-Cheek? Even Callum Hudson-Odoi, he could be, not in centre midfield obviously, but he had a good game against us at Stamford Bridge. But I know he hasn't been playing much as of late.
Yeah,
so
I mean, he's not been great this season, but he's a kid with a lot of potential, and he's another big explosive threat. Like, for example, if they won't do it, but if they went with Cho and Pulisic wide, I'd be very scared, because that's a lot of pace and direct running straight at you. I don't think Frank will do that.
No, William's kind of undroppable at the moment, right?
And William also offers that ability to carry the ball long distances as well. So and he's a threat from set pieces himself, William, as well. So. Yeah, I think they'll go. Is Kante fit? Is he not fit?
I think Kante is fit, but they haven't seemed to be going with Kante. Like, he hasn't played as much as he this season, so I don't know.
So you'd imagine probably Kovacic and Jorginho then. In centre mid,
which would be. It wouldn't be the worst matchup against Xhaka and Ceballos.
No, it's not. They could.
It's quite similar, actually, isn't it? Like, Kovacic is our Ceballos, and Xhaka is their Jorginho kind of thing. So it's quite similar matchups there. I think we could probably line up pretty similar in terms of formations and styles of players. Anyway, if they do go with the 3-4-3. Anyway, what would you say are Chelsea's biggest strengths, other than obviously like they got direct runners? They've got someone like Kovacic who can very press resistant, and he can carry the ball, and they've got a lot of ball carriers as well. What other threats would you say there are?
Definitely aerially. You've got Giroud, very big. You've got I'm sure they'll probably play Zuma. He's also a big threat in the box as well. So and obviously we've conceded
Alonso even.
Goals. Yeah, Alonso's another threat in the box. So we've conceded a lot of goals from set pieces this season. So and we didn't handle Giroud in the final last year.
No.
I wouldn't bank on it because obviously Chambers is out, Mustafi's out. So you're looking at one of Holding or Kolasinac. I'm presuming it's probably going to be Holding.
Yep.
That starts alongside Louise and Tini in the back three in it. Do you know what I mean? Or do you think we might go to the back four? Because it was weird that Arteta decided to play the back four in the last day of the season. It was. Do you think because we played the back three pretty much all the time since the restart, he might try and maybe just put a little doubt in Frank's mind? I don't know.
I think it's definitely. I don't know whether he meant it to be this way, but it's definitely given Frank something to think about, right? Because we aren't sure about what formation going into the game, so how can Chelsea possibly be sure? You know, and I think that kind of that kind of thinking is going to be hard to predict. So yeah, I'm not too sure. Like I was listening to the Arse Vision podcast, and they seem to have like quite an interesting debate as to what formation that it'd be. There were pros and cons to going with both formations. Like that, we've done quite well with the 4 against Chelsea. Like I know it was a 4-2-3-1, which we aren't going to play, and Özil's not going to play. I guess that changes things quite a bit. But I think I'd prefer the 3 at the back, just because I am a bit worried about Giroud. I don't think it necessarily takes 3 defenders to deal with Giroud, but I think it's the stuff coming around him and stuff like that. And I think you're better off.
It's like you said, despite how much he used to frustrate us, we knew what he was good like when Özil or Ramsey would try and passes off around the box as well. So like you said, you've just got to be wary about that if there's runners in and around that sort of space. So. And like you said, I think the 3 at the back makes us a lot more compact. Like you saw with the 4 at the back against Watford, we looked a lot more creative, lots of space, but you can't really afford that in an FA Cup final, especially on a big pitch like Wembley as well. So yeah, I would just urge caution to start with, I guess, and then maybe we'd be a bit more expansive as the game goes on.
Yeah, I think he will.
Because the last thing you just want to do is lose the game like within the first half or like first 30 minutes with just dumb stuff. Like I'd rather be a bit cautious and work our way into the game.
Yeah, 100%. Chelsea's weaknesses then, I mean, they do have a lot. They've conceded a lot of goals this season, and they haven't been that potent. I know they've scored quite a lot of goals, but they especially earlier on in the season, they had a lot of games where they looked a bit toothless. I think now with Giroud, they've got a bit of stability up front, and they've seemed to have settled. Like Pulisic has come into good goal scoring form. Willian scoring goals now. Giroud has been in, ridiculous form. They're kind of settling now, but they do have a lot of deficiencies that we can take advantage of. I mean, we've scored goals against them this season. There's no reason why we can't score goals against them this season. So, what would you say is are some of Chelsea's biggest weaknesses?
I think definitely like us through the centre, but also down the sides as well. I think we can get at whoever it is. Alonso, you've seen Bellerin's got at him. Remember the last time we played in the FA Cup final, Bellerin killed him that day. I remember. And I could see, because remember that day, I think, did Ox played left wing back that day, didn't he?
I think you're right, yeah.
He did.
In the last FA Cup final, yeah?
Yeah. I think Ox played left.
When was that, though? Not the
2017? Final? Yeah, the final, 2017.
Well, did we win that on pens?
No, we beat Chelsea 2-1. That was the Mertesacker final. Remember, Mertesacker hadn't played all season, and then he played the FA Cup final.
Though? I'm looking at the
2016-17 season. Because remember, Chelsea had won the title that season, and they went into the final.
I'm looking at the last 10 matches. It's not even in the last 10 meetings. That's why I can't see it. It was the FA Cup final here. Yeah, I think you're right. Elks played left wing back, Bellerin right wing back. Yeah, Mertesacker holding, and that was the game that everyone is still holding on about holding, right?
Holding, pretty much.
3 years later.
No, but I think those same sort of problems they had then, I think we can get at them again. So, when we talk about the 3 at the back, because obviously I said to be a bit cautious, but we can't just sit back the whole game. We need to attack as well. So I would be tempted. It's quite risky, but I would like to see Ainsley at right wing back, and I'd like to see Saka at left wing back.
Yeah,
that's what I would like to see.
I like that.
I think we could definitely get at them through the sides as well. Because
I think Saka will play.
I think so. He's been a bit quieter recent weeks. I think obviously Arteta's just taken him out a bit, but yeah, I expect him to. Well, I think he should play anyway, regardless. I think he should play the final, and I think left wing back's a good position for him. He's got loads of space to attack down the
Yeah,
side, and
and
we
it's
saw from when
another
he was
option to be maybe can play that kind of like that role where
the
he's like half
pockets,
a yeah
half defender, half midfielder as well, and
yeah
it's similar with Ainsley. And we saw even from Saka's stint at left back, he's a decent stand-up defender as well. So
hmm
both and Ainsley fares very well. And if Pulisic is going to play, I would rather him to be up against
on the
Ainsley
right
rather than
side.
Bellerin.
Yeah, I don't
So
think Ainsley will play right back. I think Bellerin will
yeah,
play.
you think he'll play possibly
Yeah.
as well, but that's just what I would go for because I think going forward they would both give us that threat as well from an athletic standpoint as well.
hmm
So what I think we're going to need to do if we're going to be because I'm assuming I don't know, but I think they might end up having more possession. So I think just once we retrieve it, we need to just be very quick in transition,
hmm
and having those athletic guys down the sides, I think is a big way to help
Yeah,
and at them as well.
yeah, I agree. I think obviously another weakness would have been Kepa if he plays, but Frank's
Yeah,
decided to drop Kepa and bring Caballero in, which is not great timing for us.
yeah,
And he kept a clean sheet against Wolves, so you would imagine he'd probably start here as well. But Caballero is not a great goalkeeper, so
he's really not that good. The only thing
no,
he's good at, I remember, is when he's very good at penalties. He saves a lot
yeah,
of penalties.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
the only
yeah,
thing I
yeah,
remember. But
yeah,
generally, I don't think he's not. He's better than Kepa, but it's not by that much. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah. So if our front three bring their A game and get some shots up as well, we can definitely
Uh,
cause them problems. It's a big pitch. What I always remember is Wembley's a very very big pitch.
mm,
People get tired on that pitch. Do you know what I mean?
mm.
So there will definitely be for both sides spaces to exploit at some points during the game as well. So it's just about who's more decisive and ruthless in terms of their actions in their final third.
Yeah, if we're talking about heat as well, I mean, we look how hot it's been as of late.
Jeez,
It's
yeah,
going to
I even
be,
forgot
yeah,
to ask. Yeah,
it could be like 26 degrees on Saturday. So
yeah,
it might,
they're not gonna like
no,
that.
no. But I mean, another weakness for Chelsea, I guess, would be like they're just as bad as conceding from set pieces as we are. They might actually be even worse than we
Oh
are,
wow,
which is,
it says something.
it
Yeah.
says something, considering how bad we are. But I think a lot of Chelsea's goals are conceded through set pieces. So,
Mm.
but we're not really a potent set piece
Yeah,
side.
I was
We
gonna
don't.
say we
It'd
don't
be okay if
score a lot.
Mustafi was playing. Mustafi is
Mm.
probably our best offensive attacker
Best
of the ball,
attacker. Yeah.
but no
Um,
Mustafi.
Now would be a nice time for Louise to score. I mean, he scored a
Yeah,
couple of goals this season, but now would be a nice time for him to score in the final,
yeah,
repay
yeah.
all those bloody penalties he's given away this season. Do you know what I mean?
Mm, mm.
So yeah, so it would be nice. But yeah, like you said, we're not a very big side generally anyway,
No.
and we're playing Tierney. We're going to be playing Tierney at the back, so pretty much the only 6-footers we'll have in the team will be Holding, Louise, and Xhaka.
Yeah.
I mean, Oba's there as well, but Oba's not really a threat
No.
from like in terms of heading from set
No.
pieces, really,
No.
is he? So
Let's talk a little bit about us then. So, we're kind of hamstrung by what we have available to us. So, obviously, I think Leno's back in training, but we all expect Martinez to start. Don't think any
Leno's fit, but Arteta said Martinez is going to start the final.
Martinez. Arteta said that, yeah. So cool.
Yeah,
Back three, to me, it sorts itself out because I don't
pretty
think
much.
Kolasinac should be playing.
No,
So that's if we go with the back three. With the back four, let's do both. So say he were to go to a back four, what are we thinking? Louise and Holding?
it would have to be, unfortunately.
Yeah, not Louise and Tierney, or no? It'd have to be Louise and Holding, wouldn't it?
I think I'd have to, yeah. Tierney in a back, I think it's similar to Monreal. You know, when we played Monreal in a back three, he was really, really good. But
Yeah,
putting Monreal in a back two, like for a back four, it's a bit more risky.
yeah.
And I wouldn't really fancy him up against Giroud,
No,
Tierney,
no.
to be fair. So I think if it's a back four, yeah, Tierney left back, Holding and Louise, and either Bellerin or Ainsley
Yep,
right back.
yep.
There'll be Xhaka and Ceballos naturally.
Maybe Saka in midfield if it was a 4-3-3.
Yeah, it would have to be. The only worry about that is that I just think whatever three we play against Chelsea's three, I don't think we match up well.
Mm-hmm.
For example, because if they play Kante, Kovacic and Jorginho, I think we'll struggle because they'll outrun our
What
midfield.
about if they just played a 3-4-3 like they have been?
3-4-3. Yeah, maybe, possibly.
Mm.
And that's why I think that's the interesting tactical thing about this as well. Because like I said, Arteta's played the back three throughout the restart. And then last day of the season, he plays that back four. Maybe, like I said, he's just trying to I don't know if it's mind games or just trying to put a bit of doubt into Frank's head as well, so they can try and second guess.
So obviously we know Xhaka and Ceballos will play. The front three is the interesting question because probably only Aubameyang picks himself.
I don't think he's going to change it much, to be honest. I think
so Laka and Pepe.
I think he'll go with that. I think because one of the things I remember when we beat Man City, the youngest player in that team that day was Ainsley. I think he was 22. Everyone was above age, so that there's something to be said for experience. So I don't think he's going to spring much from a personnel perspective because I don't think he'll start Nelson. I don't think he'll start Eddie.
Even though Nelson played quite well against Chelsea when he did play. I can't remember what game it was. What game was it that Nelson played quite well? I think it was the home game, wasn't it, where we lost?
Yeah. He started well, but I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised. But you never know. You never know. So, but yeah, I don't see much happen. I don't see much being out. I think, like I said, for me, the only positions that are really up for debate are the fullback position. That's where the only thing we might see a little surprise. I don't expect Torreira to start. I don't expect Willett to start. Don't expect Nelson to start. So, and like you said, we're hamstrung because obviously Martinelli's injured. You've got Mustafi, Chambers who are injured. Murray who's injured.
I can't believe I'm actually. This is actually a game where I'm like, oh man, I wish Mustafi was fit. You know, it
says it right now.
Bottom of the barrel shit, really.
How low the bar is that he's probably the best defender we have at the moment. So that's really, really telling. So and also just because I really don't trust Rob Holding at all. So, and the fact of the matter is I don't trust Mustafi, but I trust Rob Holding a lot less.
Yeah.
So
I think it's with Mustafi, it's just mistakes. Holding, you're probably not going to get mistakes. It's just the general level is really not good. Yeah.
And I think that's always been the thing with Mustafi. Like he might have like an 8 out of 10 game, but then he could just easily ruin it at any point with a
moment of ridiculous.
And it's the same with Luiz as well. So having 2 of those 3 in there, that could be having really, really good games. Speaking of Luiz, we're going to need his distribution hopefully would be a big help, especially on a big pitch like this as well.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if we try to go over the top of Chelsea as well, because like you said, they're not really quick on the recovery. Their defense isn't that quick. And they've got Rudiger's quite clumsy. Zuma can be quite clumsy. Reece James, decent talent, but inexperienced. Azpilicueta is not fast. So, like you said, we can definitely get at their defenders. Just if we can execute well once we get to that sort of position.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think there's anything else really to talk about in terms of the preview. Just really lead into what you think is going to happen, I guess. What's your heart first? I guess your heart is telling you in, but what's your brain telling you first and foremost?
My brain is telling me that we don't really have enough options off the bench. So for me, it's going to be like first goal might win. So we need to score, because I put it this way, I can only really see us winning if we score first. I don't see us going like a goal down and coming back, because one, we don't really have those tools on the bench. We don't have a Martinelli to bring on. And 2,
we never go behind and come back anyway.
We never really go behind and come back. So we need to go in front and maintain that lead. So in all honesty, because of what happened, I'm still suffering PTSD from Baku last year. Obviously, I know Hazard's not there, but Pulisic is now showing signs of becoming another player like that. So head says 2-0. 2-0, 2-1 Chelsea. Heart says 1-0, 2-1 Arsenal. So we need.
Yeah, I guess there is like I guess there's like this. How motivated are Chelsea going to be? Like they've done their work this season. They've got into the Champions League by virtue of finishing in the top 4. Yes, they'll be up for winning some silverware in Lampard's first season, and I guess
I think that would be it. To be honest, that's probably his motivation. Both managers are just going to be like, listen, like Arteta's only been a manager 6 months. He's like, if I can get a trophy behind me straight away, that'd be great. Lampard as well. trophy. He's only this is only his second season as a manager as well. So
Mhm.
I think both teams will be hungry for a trophy.
Mhm.
It's a London derby, to be honest. Like I said, that they won't want to lose because they showed it last year. They didn't need to win. Do
Yeah,
you know what I
and they
mean?
still did it.
So,
Yeah.
and they still did it anyway. So
The,
yeah, no,
the,
I think both teams will be going full throttle.
the it's just the our record. I know is I hate going with records, but
Yeah,
it's our record in cup finals, FA Cup finals specifically, is so good. And we've
which
beaten in recent years. We've beaten Man City. We've beaten
I mean, I mean,
Chelsea.
I mean, to be fair, like I said, hopefully history follows 2017 because we beat Man City in the semis and we beat Chelsea in the final. So hopefully we
Yeah.
could do the same thing again.
And FA Cup is a weird one like that. It does throw out results, but like I think you're probably right. It's it's a game where we're gonna have to rely on something to not go Chelsea's way, and for most of it to go our way, I think. And
it really needs to.
that's what
Yeah,
we're going to be relying on, because I can't see us bringing out like a masterstroke performance again. I think the City performance. I'm still finding it hard to put my thumb on what happened, but it's
because to be fair, the City performance, the way we set up was the right blueprint to play against City anyway.
yeah,
With Chelsea, it's hard to know what the right sort of blueprint is. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously they're not as good as City, but one, we don't know how they might set up. We don't know who's going to play, so it's a case of trying to second guess. With City, you could pretty much predict what their team was going to be. You knew what they were going to do,
yeah,
and Arteta said before the City game, he was like, "Listen, they're a great team, but they have weak spots." Do you know what I mean? So they have Eric Garcia at centre back.
yeah.
They're always vulnerable with balls in behind over the top as well, and we exploited that as well. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't really know what the approach is going to be for this game and what the right approach is, but we can't obviously sit back the whole game as well. So we need to pose a threat. I think, to be honest, Chelsea have looked quite flimsy when teams have gone at them this season. Do you know what I mean? I don't think we should be sitting them back and let them build up confidence ahead of themselves. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it might be a thing where we try and go all guns blazing for like the first 45, try and get ahead, and then second half is going to be a backs to the wall job. But I don't really trust us sitting deep
No,
for too long. And like you
no.
said, because it's hot as well, like people are going to fatigue mentally. You might just end up losing concentration and stuff in it. So it's hard to know. It's
Which
really
could
hard to
affect
know.
both teams, yeah.
Yeah,
Which will affect both teams, because we both got Wallies in defence. So,
and like you said, because it's hot, the last thing you want to be doing is chasing that ball on a hot day.
yeah. And both teams are pretty bad at chasing it, but yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna go 2-1 Arsenal, simply
Bringing
because I
home.
think the stars could align for us. I think I don't want to jinx it too much, but Giroud is a purple patch striker. That purple patch got to come to an end sometime. We know he loves goalless runs. So let's hope that happens. I'm not really too afraid of Tammy. So if Tammy were to start, or if Tammy were to, I don't think Tammy will start, but if Tammy were to come on, not too afraid of him.
But you know what it is though? It's the mobility of, say, them bringing, like, imagine, like, say they're ahead and then they bring on, like, and we have to push bodies forward. Then they bring on like Tabby and Cho with like 20 minutes to go.
Then it's
That's
a
when you
problem.
start to get a bit. Then you're like, oh crap.
If they're ahead,
Yeah.
then it's an issue. But if they start to bring on Tammy when we're 1-0 up or whatever, I'm not too fussed by it. Cho is going to be a problem anyway. He's a great player. There's not much you can do about Cho. The most we can do is maybe bring on Ainsley and let him do we could do that. Listen, let Saka play first 60 minutes. We get a lead, and then you bring on Ainsley Maitland-Niles and let him do like a specialised job on Cho or whatever. And we hope for the best with that. And
it might have to be.
I'll back Ainsley. I'll back Ainsley to do that.
I mean, to be fair, Ainsley stopped the Dharma. He stopped Mara.
It'd just be another one. It'd just be another name to add to the list, wouldn't it? Another notch on the belt.
Stopped Zaha. So yeah, I mean, he's like you said, 1v1. He's a very, very good stand-up defender. So so hopefully he's on his A game as well on Saturday. Cool. But yeah, man, I'm nervous, man. I would love it for, obviously, one, it's Arsene Wenger's Cup, but two, I think it would add more belief. Not that there's not belief already in the Arteta project, but do you know what I mean? It would just give it that bit of an extra kick.
Yeah.
And I think, that would. A lot of people, we would go into summer really, really buoyed. Do you know what I mean? Like, remember how last year like how we went into summer miserable because of because
We
of
got
that hammering as
camped.
well.
Yeah.
But I just think we need, we need something in it. So, and like you said, that obviously they say lightning doesn't strike twice after 2017, but boy, hopefully, man, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully indeed. But yeah, we'll be live on the Discord for the FA Cup final anyway. So those of you that join us on there, brilliant. If you don't join us on there, then now's your opportunity to do so. It should be fun no matter who wins. You might want to tune off if we are losing when the final whistle does come, because it's going to be a bit painful, but we'll soldier it. But yeah, that we'll leave it there, guys. Sean, thanks for joining me, and we'll be back next week with another podcast and some extra bonus content as well.
Thank you very much.
All right. Cheers, guys.